Imagine being in unbearable pain, lying helpless on the floor of your own home, waiting desperately for an ambulance. The sirens grow louder, and for a moment you feel relief. Help has finally arrived. But then you realize something awful. The ambulance cannot even reach your house. Why? Because your arrogant neighbor has blocked the entire driveway with his cars. This isn't bad luck. This isn't coincidence. This is selfishness at its absolute worst. And what happens next? Let's just say it turned into a masterclass in instant karma. I was working as a paramedic at the time. In this job, you see everything: pain, tragedy, kindness, and courage. But you also see the ugliest side of people. Arrogance and selfishness, so shocking it makes your blood boil. And this story is about one of those people. We received a call for a bariatric patient, a man who weighed around 30 stone. That's over 420 pounds. He had fallen and couldn't get up. Now let me be clear. I never judge patients for their size, health, or lifestyle. People end up in those situations for many reasons: genetics, illness, depression, or circumstances beyond their control. My job was always compassion first, judgment never. But this story wasn't about him. It was about his entitled neighbor. This neighbor was the kind of man who made life hell for those around him. My patient had a legally designated disabled parking spot outside his home, approved by the council. He needed it. He had every right to it. But the neighbor constantly parked there. Letters, warnings, fines, none of it mattered. If anything, every punishment seemed to fuel his arrogance further, like he enjoyed daring the world to challenge him. On the day of the call, we pulled up to the house, and there it was again, the neighbor's car sitting smugly in the disabled spot. But this time it was even worse. His second car was parked right across the driveway, completely blocking any ambulance access. Inside, my patient was groaning in agony. From my quick assessment, I suspected a broken hip, something requiring urgent hospital care. But thanks to the neighbor, our ambulance couldn't even get close enough to safely move him. I sent my colleague to knock on the neighbor's door and calmly explain the situation. A man was in medical distress. All he had to do was move his cars. Instead, the neighbor smirked, sneered, and told my colleague to do one. Translation: not my problem. My colleague returned furious, his face red with anger. I clenched my jaw. My patient was in unbearable pain, and this man was treating the whole thing like an inconvenience. I knew what had to be done. I radioed control with steady words. We need police and fire service at this location. The fire service was needed because moving a 420-pound patient with a broken hip takes coordination and manpower. The police were needed because this was no longer just rudeness. It was obstruction. And obstruction in an emergency can mean the difference between life and death. Minutes later, the fire engine pulled up. Firefighters are professionals, but they are also fiercely protective of safety. I quickly briefed the crew commander. He nodded and sent one of his men to the neighbor's door to give him one final chance. The firefighter explained firmly, "Move your cars now." And the neighbor? Same smug response. "Do one." The firefighter returned and relayed the words. The watch commander turned to me, his eyes sharp, and asked just one question. "Is the patient's life at risk?" My heart skipped. I knew what was about to happen. I took a deep breath and said, "Yes. His driveway is blocked, and I need that access right now." The commander nodded once, turned to his crew, and gave the unforgettable order, "Move those vehicles." The firefighters didn't hesitate. They moved like a machine. The fire truck reversed into position, bumper aligned with the first car. With a steady push, they shoved the vehicle clean down the street. Metal scraped, tires screeched, and in seconds the car was no longer an obstacle. Then they moved to the second car. Same treatment. Within minutes, the driveway was completely clear. Right then, the neighbor stormed out of his house. His face was crimson red, veins bulging, spit flying as he screamed every insult he could think of. He shouted at the firefighters, at me, even at the police who had just arrived. He demanded that they stop. He demanded compensation. He demanded his rights be respected. But the police didn't even flinch. They knew this man. They'd dealt with him before. His record of harassment, fines, and obstruction was well known. One officer cut him off cold, "Sir, your vehicles were obstructing emergency access. That's a criminal matter. You're lucky we didn't tow them." The look on his face, absolutely priceless. Meanwhile, the firefighters helped us get the patient safely out. And that's when I noticed something. Despite the agony, despite the pain etched across his face, my patient was smiling. A small, tired, but genuine smile. After months of watching his arrogant neighbor take away his dignity, after suffering the constant harassment, he was finally witnessing karma unfold right in front of him. That smile has stayed with me ever since. Sadly, that patient never left the hospital. He passed away a few months later, but I'll never forget the way he smiled that day. Because for once, justice wasn't delayed, debated, or hidden in paperwork. It was immediate. It was undeniable. The arrogant man who had treated him so cruelly was humiliated in front of everyone. His car shoved aside like trash, his authority shattered. For the neighbor, it was the day his arrogance met a wall. Literally, a wall of firefighters and police who refused to tolerate his selfishness. For us, it was a day where frustration turned into action. And for my patient, it was the moment he got his dignity back, even if only for a short time. If this story gave you chills, hit the like button right now. Share your experiences in the comments. What's the most entitled thing you've ever seen a neighbor do? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of revenge, justice, and karma to serve hot. Until next time, stay kind, but never let anyone walk over you.